As the movie opens, we are shown old footage of a government official talking about unidentified flying objects. He reveals that the flying objects seen by pilots were not secret American fighter jets. He says that they don't know what they are, contemplating the idea of them being from out of space. Years later, in a small town in America, a family of 4 is getting ready to have dinner, but just as they start their prayer, a sudden explosion outside causes a small earthquake and shuts off the electricity. The family cuddle up together, but soon after they realize the air around them is toxic as they start to choke from it. They try to cover their mouth and move away, but the toxic air quickly kills them. In New York City, exobiologist Lauren is watching the news. The anchors are talking about how by 2030 a disaster will happen if humanity doesn't find a way to fight climate change. Breaking news then reports about the massive explosion that happened in the town of Badger. It is revealed that the explosion has killed everything in a 20-mile radius, and the reporter informs that the exact cause of the explosion was unknown. The air around the town is considered poisonous, so the area is now heavily guarded by authorities wearing hazmat suits. Later that night, Lauren is taking a bath when she hears a knock on her door. 2 soldiers inform Lauren that she is needed by the government. They tell her it is for national security and take her to a research site near the explosion. She then meets up with Colonel Emmerich, and he introduces her to an astrobiologist named David. Colonel Emmerich reveals that the explosion was caused by a meteorite, which in contact released the poisonous gas and then dissolved into the soil. Lauren and David are tasked to investigate the explosion site and provide whatever information they can get their hands on. When they both arrive at the location, David is initially disappointed that they find nothing, only a meteorite crater to investigate. On the other hand, Lauren finds a tiny red sapling growing in the soil, and somehow she feels a strange connection with it. She even tries to take the plant away, but she instead chooses to spare its life and just takes a picture of it. Later, Lauren returns home and continues her investigation. She first searches Google for similar kinds of meteorite strike, and she finds articles talking about the same kind of event that happened in a small Russian village. She finds footage of the meteorite flying through the air, and when she goes to the comments, she finds a video link with the tag, "What the Russians are hiding." She opens the video, and an interview starts to play. An American reporter is talking to a Russian lady and asking her what she knows about the explosion. The woman tells him that the meteorite killed everyone in the town, but that wasn't the end of it. She tells him something much more scarier came out of the explosion that started killing everyone in its way. The military were able to take down the alien, but a big tree came out of it too. So the government decided to burn down the tree and with it the whole village. The reporter then asks more questions about the tree, but the woman refuses to talk more in fear of the government, and a few days later, she is killed by an unknown person. The next morning, Lauren watches a live autopsy of the dead people. Rob, the father from the opening scene, is the one getting autopsied, and as the doctors cut his body, an unusual dark blue substance oozes out of his body, but then moves back upwards like a reverse effect. Suddenly, the dead Robert sits up, causing everyone to be terrified and shocked. The main doctor in fear runs away if the second one stays. She then slowly goes to Rob and checks his pulse, but she is shocked to find out Rob doesn't have any pulse. He also has no blood pressure, and that all signs point to him still being dead. Suddenly, everyone's phone starts ringing. There is chaos outside, and when Lauren then looks into the morgue and finds that Robert was not the only one who has somehow come back to life. 49 out of the 1,300 people that have died have come back to life, which raises the question, why only those? One of the scientists that has been studying the site explains to the governor that the people that woke up were all close to the explosion radius. He theorizes that these victims had not only inhaled the poisonous air, but that they might have inhaled scattered fragments from the explosion, causing their internal organs to transform into a formation of a new life form. Meaning that the resurrected people are not technically human, they are entirely a different life form that doesn't function the way humans do. Lauren then tells Colonel Emmerich about this similar incident that happened in Russia, but the colonel still does not believe her words. Therefore, she conveys this to government officials, including the president. At first, the president does not believe her story either, but after hearing all of her requests, the president decides not to incinerate these 49 victims so that further investigation can be carried out. Lauren is observing the aliens, but all of them don't move. The scientists try to show them pictures of their family, but there is no response. One thing all the aliens do is look to the north, but no one knows why. Lauren then decides to talk to them herself. She tells them stories about her childhood and about her mother's death. While trying to communicate with a child alien, Lauren receives a phone call from David, but she declines the call. Suddenly, the child reacts for the first time after seeing Lauren's cell phone wallpaper, which is the photo of the tiny red sapling from the meteorite crater. Lauren immediately shares what she saw to the Colonel and David. She then asks to take one of the aliens to the sapling, but the Colonel is hesitant. David then realizes that the reason that all of the aliens are looking to the north is because the tree is located to the north, which supports Lauren's idea of the aliens being connected to it. A few moments later, another soldier interrupts their conversation, telling them that the incident has gone viral. The breaking news reports of a giant alien object growing from the meteorite crater. It is revealed that the tree has grown into something huge in just 2 days. The Colonel then agrees to send Rob with Lauren and David to the tree. The tree completely intoxicates the soil as well as the air around it, creating its own atmosphere. Everything that breathes the air immediately dies except Rob, so Lauren and David wear hazmat suits before entering the area. Once Robert is brought into the tree's atmosphere, he comes back to life but as another species. He starts to communicate with Lauren and reveals that he cannot stay where he was before as the current atmosphere is the source of life for him, revealing that the aliens purposefully seeded the tree to create an environment suitable for their species. The aliens' home planet has become too toxic and uninhabitable for them, and they have been searching for years for a new planet. Earth is also toxic for them, but it is the only planet that can grow the tree, which in turn gives them life. The next day, Lauren is visited by her father. From the interaction, it is revealed that the two don't have a great relationship. Her father tells her that he misses her and wants a hug, but Lauren refuses. Later that day, Lauren is called back into the explosion site. The Colonel tells her that Rob is asking to talk to her. The Colonel then gives her a list of questions to ask Rob. Lauren and Rob are sitting in front of the giant tree, and Lauren asks him what the aliens want from Earth. Rob tells her that the only way for their life form to not be extinct is to live on Earth. She then asks him how they found Earth, and he reveals to her that a person from Earth sent them the coordinates. He says that the person that called himself Supernova 94, the person contacted the aliens while they were searching and invited them to come to Earth. Rob also explains that they plan to terraform Earth, which will in turn kill all life on Earth. While the two are talking, 2 other soldiers are taking samples from the tree. Rob gets angry and tells them to stop, but Lauren reveals to him that the government is going to destroy the tree. Rob then reveals that aliens have abilities, and then hypnotizes one of the scientists into removing his suit and killing himself. The soldiers immediately point their gun at him, but chaos ensues as he hypnotizes the soldiers into starting to kill each other. On the other side, the Air Force launches missiles at Robert, but something blocks the missiles, causing them to explode midway. It is revealed that the tree has created some kind of shield around it, protecting anyone inside its atmosphere. A few days after the military is unable to destroy the extraterrestrial plant, chaos ensues around the world. Lauren watches the news of crops dying, earthquakes, and monstrous sounds appearing around them. People from all over the world are praying together for their lives, as humanity is on the verge of extinction. It is also shown that the military has chosen to incinerate the victims, because they do not want to take any more risks. Lauren decides to visit her father and goes to her childhood home, but as she touches the door, she is hit with strong emotions. She remembers being isolated as a kid and leaves without talking to her father. In a monologue, Lauren tells us that she doesn't feel like she fitted anywhere, but now, as the world is ending, she feels a sense of relief. She thinks maybe that death will be a freeing. She later goes to the tree and finds Rob standing alone. He tells her that the tree is giving life, and Lauren puts her ears to the ground and listens to the sound of new life getting born. Rob then thanks her for sparing the sapling's life, as it was their only chance for their survival. Rob next tells her that she was chosen to buy the tree. Lauren asks how, and Rob shows her suppressed memory. We are taken to when Lauren was young. Her father, who is a scientist, takes her on a secret road trip to Area 51. He tells her to wait for him in the waiting room while he meets up with his team, but Lauren wanders around and she finds an alien that was captured by humans. She makes contact with the alien, which gradually starts changing her DNA into half human and half alien. Shortly after that, Lauren suddenly becomes super smart. She also gets interested in space and aliens. She even designed a blueprint for a rocket at the age of 8. And later, Lauren built a communication device and tries to communicate with the aliens. It is finally revealed that she was using the username Supernova 94 after looking at a calendar showing a picture of supernova and the year of 1994. After remembering everything, Lauren falls into tears as she finally finds out the answer. Rob then takes her mask off, and Lauren is not affected by the poisonous air. Meanwhile, around the world, mysterious giant eggs start appearing from the ground. They then burst and release the poisonous air which kills every living thing. There is nowhere to run as humanity gets extinct. And as the movie ends, Lauren says that she has finally found home.